Hey guys, it's your girl Relle Unique here. I'm back. Hold on, let me get my camera together. Alright. So, this is the season finale review of Tamar Braxton Get Your Life. I'm your girl Relle Unique here. I'm gonna give you my full opinion of what I think about the episode and how the episode went. Yeah. So please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So let's start. So Goldie quits the show, right? She was tired of all the distractions. She was tired of the disrespect from David. She was tired of a lot of different things, and she took it really personally when David questioned if her work was witchcraft or not. Excuse me, let me turn my body. So it starts off with David and Tamar talking about Tamar's thickness. Tamar has gained a little weight and David likes it, he likes her thickness. He don't like her talking bad about herself. So he's telling that he likes her thickness. The producers come in and they're asking Tamar and David how they felt about the show overall. David felt like things were very intrusive, and he mentions also Vince coming in at random times unannounced. He didn't like that, and so he made mention of that, and that was pretty much all he had to say. But he just felt like it was a bit intrusive. Like, okay, if I'm trying to use the bathroom, I'm not trying to have cameras in here when I'm trying to go to the bathroom or go to my bedroom. So that was what he mentioned. Tamar said a few things, and I wrote some of them down. She said, I'm not sure if it's the best show I've ever done or the worst show I've ever done. And that was hurtful to hear, that she felt that way. But I understand it, just given how the show ended up going in the long run. I totally understand it, because what she wanted for this show, had that been accomplished, it definitely would have been the best show she had ever done. But what ended up transpiring absolutely made it the worst show she's ever done for her. She says that she mentioned trust and regret. I can't remember exactly what she said about trust and regret, but she has a hard time trusting people. And I'm sure this show didn't make things any easier as far as that goes. And she said when you trust these type of shows so much, you become the villain. And she understands that. And it's the truth. They always have the hero and the villain. And most often, Tamar was the villain on her show, The Braxton Family Values. So she definitely, and the real. And partially to catch a beautician. But so she knows what that's like to be the villain. And I think she was trying to keep David from feeling that, some of the brunt of that. And she wanted to show that in life, sometimes there is room for another chance or for you to make changes. And she believed that this show was necessary because she believes in change. I hope that's what it showed. I didn't get... I'll take that back. I think it showed that with some of the revelations that she came up with, that she came to working with Goldie. I definitely believe that she found a newfound deepness within herself that she had not delved into. So then we skip over to David talking to Mona. And Mona's trying to use David to get Tamar to give more from during the cameras. Mona's disguising it as, oh, we want to really accomplish the goals that you had set out when you started this show. I'm not buying into Mona's trash. Mona's here for a check. Mona's here for a TV show. It would have been nice if Tamar could have got that check from what she had set out, what her goals were, but she didn't get to do that. And so Mona tried to use David as somebody, as a tool. She tried to use him as a tool to get Tamar to give more. They begin to talk about Tamar's family issues and how that really takes a toll on Tamar, and it's affecting her more than she actually says. David proceeds to tell Mona about the bachelor. Oh no, they laugh about the bachelor party. I'm skipping stuff. They laugh at Tamar and David before he speaks to Mona. Tamar and David talk about the wedding and how they're excited about the wedding. I'm skipping, y'all. Going back though, rewinding. And so they joke about the bachelorette party, strippers being there, how there should be rules. And he tries to talk her into, softening up for her family. Tamar is still nervous about seeing her family because the last time she's seen her family, it was at the funeral of their niece Lauren. I believe this was their brother's daughter. She was 24 and she passed away from an accidental drug overdose. So that was the last time she's seen her family. So this is going to be quite triggering for her. So, let's see. Tamar mentions how she feels pulled into two sides and whatnot, and she doesn't feel like she has complete control over the work that's going on. That was going on with Goalie. She wishes that Goalie was able to articulate more of what she does to David as opposed to getting so emotionally overwhelmed. But she was glad that David kind of was trying to protect her. Even though she didn't totally agree with how he was trying to protect her, she was glad that he was trying to protect her. And she was grateful for that in him. Even though she wasn't 100% happy with the conclusion that went on with her and Goalie. She wanted to finish the dream work. And so she said that she was not able to finish that. But she feels like Goalie was out of line. So David says that, he used the power of prayer. Him and his family came together and they prayed. And, they said, you see what happened to Goalie? She's not here because we prayed her away. We prayed that if what she was doing was demonic, for her to go. So they had that conversation. So Tamar meets with Patty Pie James. They see a shoe in the parking lot. They make a couple of little jokes about that random shoe that's in the parking lot. Whatever. Let's see. So Tamar mentions, she talks about David and how he gave her a key to his home on the second date. So she knew he was being serious about her. She knew he was ready to be in a relationship with her. And she just mentions how, she's ready to take that step forward where they're talking about marriage, but it doesn't mean anything until he proposes. And so she wants to be proposed to. She doesn't want to rush being married, but they've been together 2 years. She's just ready for a ring now to solidify what they have. What else? She mentions, so Patty Pie guy asked her about Goalie, and she says, she hasn't reached out to Goalie, but she feels like the time that they've spent was the time that they were supposed to spend together. It makes her sad that they didn't finish their work, but, she just feels like, well, I guess this was our allotted time, and so I'm not going to press the issue. But then Tamar thought about it, and she felt like maybe the producers prompted Patty Pie James to ask her about that. And so he said he didn't have anything to do with that. So now it's time for Tamar to give one of her final interviews. She cancels hair, cancels makeup, and she shows up at 6:48. She shows up at 6:48 p.m. and the interview is supposed to end at 7 p.m. She gives half answers, and she pretty much just shuts down and does not give them anything. She's in one of her moods. And this is part of why a lot of them can't work with her, because it's a reality show about your life, and you're not letting us into your life. Now let's fast forward back to where I was before. So David and Mona sit and talk. Like I mentioned before, Mona's pretending as if this is all about the goal that she's trying to reach with Tamar, and we have to keep Tamar on task and not let her run or shut down. But it's more so that you have a TV show to run and you want your money back. It's really what this boils down to. David proceeds to tell, they talk about Tamar's feelings, about how the family affects her feelings, and David proceeds to give us a little tea on Trina's wedding. So apparently while Tamar is at Trina's wedding, she needs to change her shoes, her feet are hurting. She goes to the back, and her sister Tracy is there. Now, if you know anything, I think they've been estranged from each other for maybe like a year or two at this point. They have strong beef over the years. Tracy has a lot of baggage from the time when the Braxton family had their record deal. And they left Tracy out. Tracy got pregnant, and they moved on with their lives. They didn't check on her. They just got record deals and moved on with their lives, and they did not take Tracy along for the ride. And then Tamar, being an insensitive brat, had a lot of mean things to say about Tracy over the years, and even up till this day. She's very dismissive of Tracy and Tracy's feelings. So David talks about how he's seen her shut down and not be able to function because of the sadness that's within her heart over her family. So when he sees Tracy back there, he tells Tamar, why don't you talk to your sister? Well, Tracy grabs Tamar's hair and pulls Tamar's hand back like this. And David demonstrates this on Mona. Pulls her hand all the way back and grabs Tamar's hair. Now, at first I was like, nah. Because I remember watching all the seasons of Braxton Family Values, and Miss Evelyn was saying how they don't get violent with each other. But I could see it brewing in Tracy. Like that last interaction, she stepped up to Tamar and got right in her face and said, "You make it so hard for me to love you." And I feel like they've been physical. I just think that's a front Miss Evelyn had put on just to keep violence off of the Braxton Family Values show. Because it's been a few times they had to pull Tracy away from Tamar because of Tamar's emotional abuse and dismissiveness, and Tracy's fed upness. I believe they've laid hands. I'm not buying that they have not. I'm not buying that that's the first time. Y'all can miss me with that. So Mona mentions that, Tamar has free will to make her decisions, and if you're not ready, then Tamar shouldn't do the reality show. I just don't think Tamar is emotionally intelligent enough to say, I shouldn't do this reality show. I think she went in with good intentions. She wanted the show to be a certain thing. She wanted it to be positivity and showing her taking power in her life back. But it ended up being something totally different, and it ended up being a whirlwind of negative emotions and negative things happening. And I don't think emotionally, Tamar is emotionally equipped enough to say, I'm not ready for reality TV. She might be able to say it now after this has happened, but I don't think in that time she was emotionally wise enough to say, I can't do this. Because she just is doing way too much. You got your singing career, you got your man, you got your son, you got your ex-husband, you got this reality show, you're planning a 50th birthday party, you're trying to lose weight, and you're trying to get in the tea business. You're just doing way too much. Alright, so Tamar meets with Mona. Tamar's sick again, voice is gone. She's on antibiotics, and it could be from all of the stress of everything. We know that stuff manifests itself, and Yeah, it could be all the stress and she won't take care of her internal flaws. So Tamar watches some of the and let me say, I hated her edges. I can't deal with them little baby edges that's sticking out of that wig. I just can't do it, y'all. I don't like it. It upsets me. Anyway, Tamar mentions that, you know, she just feels like the show spent a lot of time and wasted a lot of time on shenanigans. Them Stevie J shenanigans. And, you know, she wanted it to be something to show where she would take control of her life. And so Mona tells her you can't go running and go hiding. And, oh, like I said, ultimately Mona wants something from Tamar that Tamar just really isn't equipped to give. She really does. And when it comes to Goldie, Tamar just feels like Goldie tied her hands. She called people MRFers in their own home, you know, saying F you and all of this in your own and in their own home. And she just feels like, I can't let you back in here. You've disrespected on a whole different level. You know, it's one thing if we're talking about work, but you're taking this way more personal. And that's I totally agree with that. And she mentions that she doesn't care about Tracy's baggage. She doesn't care about Tracy's baggage. She feels like the show just became a bunch of stuff that wasn't her own, and she didn't have control in things at all. And I agree. I hate that she feels like she can't just be. I don't know why it's so hard to be empathetic to your sister, to be sensitive to your sister. I just don't understand why that's so hard for Tamar. You want everybody to be sensitive to you, your feelings, your breakdowns, but you cannot give your sister, you can't throw her a bone, you can't throw her an olive branch, you can't. I just don't understand that. Anyway, Tamar goes for another interview after watching a few of the clips from the show. After watching a few of the clips of the show, she does not want the show to come out. She feels betrayed by the producers. She feels hurt, and she does not want this show to come out. She goes to do one final interview. They ask her the producers ask her questions. Tamar is sitting there and not answering. She completely shut down. She gets up and walks out. She does mention that they stabbed her in the back, and she feels like she's been set up. And she walks out. After 45 minutes, her attorney talks her into coming back and doing an interview and he asks her the questions. And she did answer those questions. You know, she just wanted the show to show her a person who's empowering themselves, encouraging themselves. She wanted to show a person who could trust their self and others, you know. And so, you know, now she just feels like it's just difficult to trust people, and even including herself. And, you know, she wants to show her flaws and battles, and she wants to help others to get to the other side, because she felt like she had reached a place of going to the other side. And I do think Tamar has come a long way. I think she has reached a place of coming to the other side, you know. I think she has grown up a lot. I think her journey is not over, and I just really wished that this show could be what she wanted it to be. I just really wished, but it just became a hot mess, and it ultimately broke up her relationship with David, which I have mixed feelings about. I actually like David. People don't like me for liking David, but whatever. I think David's alpha male. So I do think he is alpha male. I don't think he's just some villain like they tried to play him on the show. But I don't think that Tamar should even be in a relationship, period. So even though I like David overall, he's flawed. Don't get me wrong. Very flawed. I like David though overall. I just feel like Tamar does not need to be in a relationship with anybody. She needs to be single and focus on Logan. Stop running from man to man. Not that she's just some whore out here running from man to man, but be by yourself for a little bit and focus on your internal work. Focusing on Logan. because I don't feel like, and maybe it's because of the show, I don't feel like he's getting as much attention as he deserves, because you have so much going on, and I know you're trying to balance it in the best way you can, but I just feel like things could be a little better, and I'm judging off of the show, so I might not know anything about that. So, you know, after the show, David had put out a video. He said he was driving high speeds, which I don't know what that's about. And she chopped him in the neck. And he almost crashed and whatnot. So he put out a video. And he was defending himself. And he put a PFA out on her. And I believe it. I believe it. And I also believe that he's trying to protect himself and his businesses. Because just like they did with Vince, it's going to come out that he's a physical abuser. They're already painting him as a controller. And he helped that with his alpha male ways. And he definitely helped that painting. The next thing would be he's physically abusive, and that's going to jeopardize his job. So I absolutely understand. He's trying to beat them at the punch, because they straight up did that to Vince as well. And people are painting Vince to be this hero now. And it's like, oh, hold up. You forgot all the arguing and emotional abuse that went on in that relationship too. And you forgot the abuse allegations as well. So, I don't know. I have a heart for Tamar, because I feel like I see the person that's really trying. I see the little girl that was victimized in her. I see the person that's just extremely talented, and I want what's best for her. But then I also see that broken side. I also see that emotionally abusive side, and I believe that emotionally abusive side can be physically abusive as well. I'm not buying into what they were trying to serve for this show. I'm not buying fully into it. Yeah, I'm not, especially after watching all the seasons of Braxton Family Values. Yeah, no, sorry. She got a lot of brokenness, and she had this brokenness before David. David's not the full cause of her behaviors. He's not the full cause of her behaviors. I'm just not buying into that. Sorry. Not to say he's some saint, because he's definitely not. But, I don't know. This show was entertaining, but it was very hard to watch. I feel her pain, and I just want things to come around full circle for her. Yeah. So I will definitely be watching the Braxton Family Values. It's coming out because she was actually taping it at the same time as Tamar Braxton Get Your Life. And I want to see Trina's marriage. I want to see Tracy's big announcement and breakdown. I mean, I hate to see her being broken down, because I really like Tracy too. But I want to see what's going on. What's going on with this Tamar and Birdman situation. Is it still a situation? You know? I don't know. I want to know what's going on. But, yeah. That's my thoughts on Tamar Braxton Get Your Life. Wish the best for little Logan. Wish the best for Tamar. Wish the best for David and Goldie. Yeah. I'm out. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. This is your girl Relle Unique here. And I'll holla. I'm out.